Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of What's That Herb? Today we're going to talk about another of my favorite herbs in the garden to grow, and this is sorrel. This particular variety is the French sorrel, and the difference between the French sorrel and the common sorrel or garden sorrel is that these have extremely large leaves. There are many different types of sorrel: garden sorrel, French sorrel, spinach dock, broadleaf dock. All those are in the sorrel family. And there's a wildwood sorrel as well that looks like clovers, but the taste is very similar. Sorrel has a very distinct taste, because it's sour. And how I would explain the taste of this is like eating green apples. So it has like a sour, refreshing taste. And most of the time you would find sorrel being used in soups and stuff like that. These can be found all over the world. And in Vietnam, these are very popular in many dishes because of their nice texture and the flavor. So this is a really good herb to grow because they're very easy and they're perennial. In the wintertime, they'll die, and then in the springtime, you see them stick out of the ground and grow again. So I have two varieties of sorrel in my garden. It is the red vein and the French sorrel. Actually three, and then I have the common sorrel, which is a little bit smaller, and I will show you that right now. Alright, so the red vein sorrel, I just harvested the entire plant, so it's down to just a few leaves. So you can see there, those are where I kind of cut the larger leaves to use, and now they're starting to grow out of the ground again. So that's the unique thing about this plant. You just cut them and then they will grow from the ground again. Same thing as when frost or winter gets here, it'll kill them at the top, but at the bottom they're still alive, and then when spring arrives they will grow again. So this particular one here has been there for 2 seasons. So it grew very large and I chopped it off, and it's starting to sprout new small leaves again. And here's the other one. This is the more common ones. You see how the leaves are much smaller, and the tastes are still very similar. They look very similar. So they're a very neat herb because of the unique taste. I throw them in a salad, and they just make sort of like give your salad a little punch. A little sourness, I would describe. So they're very nice, good texture. The entire leaf here is edible, and just chop it up into little pieces, and you can use them. So I have a few more places that I grow them. So these are the common sorrel, and the rabbits got here and ate them. So that's why they're that small. Okay, back to the French sorrel. And I just love this plant. It's just gorgeous. The leaves, the texture, it feels really nice. And they're very easy to grow. They prefer a little moisture, because usually you'll find these in the grassland. They grow wild in some parts of the world. I spoke to my friend Christopher in Norway, and he said that these grow just wild all over the field over there. So depending on where you are, these can be found in garden only, and some parts they're just found wild in the field with all the grass and stuff like that. So if you grow these in the garden, just give it some moisture, softer soil, because they like to move around. That's the ideal condition. If you have softer soil, they can sort of like move around underneath, and they will grow very, very fast. And the more you harvest them, they would just keep growing. So if you cut a leaf, you can actually cut the entire top parts, and then they will grow down there again. You see these small leaves right here? So if you cut all around the top, those will come up, and then more leaves will come up. So just cut a few leaves at each time you need to use them, and then they will keep continuing to produce more leaves, and that way you have fresh leaves to use all the time. So they're great in salad, as I mentioned. You can just eat them raw. I usually pick them when I come to the garden, and I just eat them. They're very refreshing and has a slight zest lemon flavor. So I'm not sure what else people use these for, but for me, I just eat them raw because that's my favorite way to use them. So that is one herb that you should look into. I highly recommend it. You're gonna like them because they're not invasive. They grow easily, they taste great, and they're beautiful. And the texture has a very nice texture. Anyway guys, that is it. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.